In Chapter 8, we cover population versus sample, how to sample badly, simple random samples, inference about the population, other sampling designs, cautions about sample surveys, and the impact of technology. Watch for these points. A sound statistical design is necessary if we are to trust data from a sample for drawing sound conclusions about the population. When sampling from large human populations, even with a sound design, there are still many practical difficulties that arise. The impact of technology, particularly cell phones and the internet, is making it harder to produce trustworthy national data by sampling. Population versus sample. The distinction between population and sample is basic to statistics. To make sense of any sample result, you must know what population the sample represents. The population in a statistical study is the entire group of individuals about which we want information. A sample is the part of the population from which we actually collect information. We use information from a sample to draw conclusions about the entire population. A sampling design describes exactly how to choose a sample from the population. Sample surveys. A sample of a large population is questioned on a set of topics. No intervention or manipulation of the respondents, simply asked to answer some questions. The first step in planning a sample survey is to say exactly what population we want to describe. The second step is to say exactly what we want to measure, that is, to give exact definitions of our variables. Note, in Chapter 9 we will learn about two other research strategies, observational studies and randomized experiments. Sample survey example. The most important government sample survey in the United States is the monthly Current Population Survey, CPS, conducted by the Bureau of the Census for the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The CPS contacts about 60,000 households each month. Determining monthly unemployment in the U.S. Background. Bureau of Labor Statistics visits approximately 60,000 households, chosen from a list of all known households in the country, CPS. Each adult is classified as employed, unemployed, or not in labor force. Unemployment rate. Number of unemployed persons divided by the sum of the employed and unemployed. Individuals, or units, are the adults in the labor force. The population of individuals is all adults in the labor force. The population of measurements is the employment status, working or not working, of everyone in the labor force. Sampling frame or list. List of all known households in the country. Sample of units. People who were asked about their employment status. Sample of measurements. Employment status of sample. Simple random samples. Random sampling, the use of chance to select a sample, is the central principle of statistical sampling. A simple random sample, SRS, of size n, consists of n individuals from the population, chosen in such a way that every set of n individuals has an equal chance of being the sample actually selected. In practice, people use random numbers generated by a computer or a calculator to choose samples. If you don't have technology handy, you can use a table of random digits. How to choose an SRS, a simple random sample. A table of random digits is a long string of the digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with these properties. Each entry in the table is equally likely to be any of these 10 digits. The entries are independent of each other. That is, knowledge of one part of the table gives no information about any other part. Using Table B to choose an SRS. Step 1. Label. Give each member of the population a numerical label of the same length. Step 2. Table. Read consecutive groups of digits of the appropriate length from Table B. Your sample contains the individuals whose labels you find. So for example, SRS example, use the random digits provided to select an SRS, a simple random sample of 4 hotels. Okay, so you look at line 130 of Table B, which has these strings of values in clumps. And then You randomly select which 2 digits from each one to use, and then it will correspond, like 05 corresponds to Beach Castle, 20 corresponds to Sea Club, 16 to Radisson, and 17 to Ramada. Our SRS of 4 hotels, a simple random sample of 4 hotels, is 05 Beach Castle, 16 Radisson, 17 Ramada, and 20 Sea Club. Inference about the population. The purpose of a sample is to give us information about a larger population. The process of drawing conclusions about a population on the basis of sample data is called inference. Inference about the population. Why should we rely on random sampling? To eliminate bias in selecting samples from the list of available individuals. The laws of probability allow trustworthy inference about the population. Results from random samples come with a margin of error that sets bounds on the size of the likely error. Larger random samples give better information about the population than smaller samples.